let's talk about your work here in Glendive.
Okay.
And some of the ways. Oh my God, I wish you guys could see these on the camera, and maybe you can. This is high def, so.
I wish we had like night vision.
I know. We should see. But I think this DEET is going to keep them away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
at least I hope so. They're like swarming around us though.
Deep
like
bath.
they want to attack.
They're like, oh, they sprayed that stuff again.
All right.
The one spot that I missed.
So did they talk to me a little bit about your work in Glendive? You're here as an Vista.
I'll start with sort of how I ended up in Montana.
Yeah.
Because that's always the big question. Let's see. As far as the store goes, I came to a point with my term here where it was sort of like either I can find busy office work to keep me busy, just anything, or I could do something. And I have a lot of energy, so I needed something to put all of my energy into. So it had been talked about that this little office in the building that we're using for the community kitchen, which is another project, be made into a Made in Montana store. And my boss is wonderful, and he's been heading all of these projects, but he already has so many projects going on that the minute that he said this, I didn't want it to just be another thought. So I said, Bruce, give me the company car and the company credit card and let me go with it. Let me do this. And I came home, typed up a 15-page business plan, went to the Chamber of Commerce, got some help business-wise from them, and just started researching, looking around town, finding stores that were closing down where I can get cheap store supplies. I immediately went to Great Grains in Miles City and started talking with Scott, who is the owner of that health food store, because I know in Connecticut what types of foods people want.
Yeah.
As far as health food goes. In eastern Montana, I have no idea. So I was sort of utilizing him as a local resource to see what would sell. And he has been wonderful and sort of has played a really big role in helping me get this started. And as of right now, UNFI, which is the largest natural food distributor in the United States, they don't deliver to eastern Montana. So Scott and I split the freight from Billings to either Miles City, and right now I just had a meeting in Billings with our distributor and Scott to try and get a truck to come to Glendive, which will probably happen within 2 weeks by the time I leave. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I'm just putting the final touches on creating a store board. It's going to be a cooperative, but a very small cooperative. It was really inspiring today going to Good Earth Market in Billings, because they started off actually smaller than the store that we have now. And I don't know if you got a chance to go in there in Billings, but it's just a gigantic cooperative right now. And so just walking in there today, I kind of just looked around, and they have some pictures of the old place that it started off as, and it was inspiring. So I was sort of envisioning this little store being really successful, and hopefully one day being that big, because they need it out here.
Well, you know what I've come to realize as I've done these different interviews across the country, is in communities like this, smaller communities, where people are very connected to their neighbors and their roots and all that piece, they just need a little help in how to revitalize that, and then everyone gathers around it, because co-ops and natural foods and local foods and all that sort of thing really matches what people believe in these smaller towns, like inside.
Yeah.
It's at their core, that kind of connection to each other. So a lot of times I feel like people they don't necessarily have the means to create these types of organizations, but when folks like you who come in and then establish the stuff, then they can grow, into something much bigger and much more powerful. And I mean powerful in the sense of educating people about sustainability and about food systems and about all these things that before they may have turned their nose up to and said, that's a hippie idea.
Yeah.
Are you finding that similar?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, sort of like I described earlier, it's like when you say things really straightforward, you sort of have to sugarcoat them for people. So when people come into the store, I kind of get a sense of what kind of person they are before I say any terms, you know, anything like that. And then, you know, if it's a farmer, you know, a farmer isn't going to want to know about the new sprouted tofu that I got, you know? So I instantly switch to something else and maybe introduce the farmer to the 5 different kinds of dry beans that we have that we helped combine right here in Glendive. You know, just showing them that, you know, I think it's something like farmers get an average of, I think it's like 30 to 60 cents to the dollar, and this store is changing that. So there's no middleman. It goes from us to the farmer, to the consumer. But yeah, going back to that though, I mean, it's a personalized thing. Trying to take the store and every person that comes in and personalize the store to them. What is in that store that can directly affect them? Whether they have diabetes and we have, you know, sugar alternatives for them, lower glycemic index. You know, if it's someone who's gluten intolerant, I make sure that I focus a lot on allergies, you know, dairy-free products, gluten-free products, egg-free products, nut-free products. But then at the same time, hearty, good stuff. You know, I have Montana cheeses, Lifeline cheeses, and they make a wide variety of different kinds of cheeses, raw milk cheddar, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Meats, antibiotic-free meats, hormone-free meat, and just even talking to you about that restaurant that you went to. I've been thinking about that, and I was talking with Scott about that today. We were discussing that, and a mosquito bite in my box tag.
Of course.
It's hilarious. But yeah, we were talking about that and how powerful that is when you see how far something's traveled, you know? It's like, I don't know how many times I've gotten into arguments with people in the grocery store when they're asking me why I'm not buying organic produce, and I'm trying to explain to them that I would rather get an apple that's non-organic from the United States than an organic apple from Guatemala. So, I mean, that's a big topic though. That's a touchy topic with everyone. Local or organic. I mean, people are definitely going more towards local now, which I think is important.